I'd like to thank Rabbi Schmidt and the JBN for having me here today. I'd also like to thank Jeff Loebman, my co-worker, for helping to make this happen. This is actually the second speaking engagement of my life outside of a couple of eulogies for family members, so please bear with me. One thing I promise everyone, there's no way I'm going to speak for 20 minutes, so you can all get back to work or whatever else you have to do. I'm from Boston. I've lived there my whole life until now, and I'm told I talk funny by several of you people here today as well. I went to school in Hartford, Connecticut, when Hartford was the insurance capital of the world. All of the insurance executives lived in huge houses in West Hartford, and when I was in high school, only fathers in the insurance business could take time off during weekdays to watch their kids play sports. So I figured large houses and not having to work a lot, what a great business. So I decided my junior year in college that I wanted to sell insurance. Little did I know. I've worked at Philadelphia insurance companies for almost 31 years. Jim McGuire hired me November 1st, 1982, and I was the 37th employee of the company. Over the years, we've grown to nearly 1,700 employees, and this year we expect to break $2.5 billion in revenue. On December 1st of 2008, we became a wholly owned subsidiary of Tokyo Marine Holdings, which is the 8th largest insurance company in the world. I was named president and CEO, as Jennifer said, this past February, and my wife and I, my wife Mary Ellen, my wife of 33 years, relocated to Philadelphia, and we live on Washington Square, and we're living in the city for the first time, so it's pretty cool, although I get in the elevator with dogs every day, and that's sort of, I think I'm the only person in the building of 45 stories that doesn't have a dog. Today's topic is practical sales insights. Keep in mind, I've peddled property casualty insurance for 36 years. Insurance is an intangible product where clients have to make a buying decision each and every year. The first tip I'm going to give you applies to everybody. My father is an 89-year-old semi-retired attorney. He's always told me if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So my tip to everyone involved here, go home tonight, look in the mirror, and decide if sales is what you want to do, especially those of you who are considering career changes. Sales is not for everybody. If you love it, great. If you don't love it, find something that you love and just go ahead and do it. Don't try to be in sales if you don't love sales. People perform much better when they do something they have a passion for. Now, for those of you who manage or hire salespeople, there are 8 tips. Number 1, hire the right person. Don't put someone in a sales position just because they or you think they can be successful. This includes your family members. So if you're a father or a mother and you want to hire your kids and you think they're going to be great in sales, but they may not be, don't cram them into a sales position. Great salespeople are hardwired with certain personality characteristics, such as ego drive, assertiveness, self-structure, and a sense of urgency. But there are many others as well. We use a firm called Caliper to screen the personalities of candidates and compare these personality traits with those of our best salespeople. There are many other companies that provide this type of screening as well. I strongly suggest you use one of them. The cost is usually about $250 to $500 per screening. It's the best money you'll ever spend. At Philly, we've also had a great deal of success hiring former college athletes. We prefer people who have played team sports versus individual sports. Call the athletic director at your alma mater. Ask them and tell them you're interested in hiring some of their former athletes. The ADs love these calls, and they'll be more than happy to help. Number 2, have your attorney draw up a reasonable, and I stress the word reasonable, non-compete, and have all your sales reps sign it. There's no point pouring your heart and soul into getting someone off the ground, only to have them leave at some point in the future, and then try to steal your business. When someone is asked to sign a non-compete, it also tests their commitment to your company. Number 3, purchase a contact management system, whether it's something as simple as ACT or something more involved as Salesforce.com. Contact management system should do a minimum of 3 things. First, it should be used to keep your sales reps organized and efficient. Second, it should shorten the learning curve for a replacement rep who is new to a territory that was previously worked by someone else. And third, the system should provide you with sales management reports so you can easily evaluate your reps' performance, both from a prospecting standpoint as well as their overall effectiveness. Who's making the most calls, who has the highest hit ratio, etc. Number 4, get out from behind your desk and work with each of your reps on a regular basis. If you ride with your reps constantly, you'll become a much more effective manager. And always let your reps drive. Be the ultimate observer. Do they keep the car clean, or does it look like someone lives in it? After all, they're bringing their boss on the road, and it's a matter of respect. Do they park their car right in front? I had to say park your car because I'm from Boston, okay? So do they park their car right in front of the prospect's doorway? Depending on the customer, that may be a spot for someone who could be a paying customer to them. So instruct them to park around the corner from the client and leave the close spaces for people who might buy something. Does your sales rep drive by prospective clients without making a note or stopping in to cold call? Or are they oblivious? The best sales reps know their territory like the back of their hand. Number 5, a sales manager's role involves a delicate balancing act. You need to know what your sales reps are doing each and every week, but you have to avoid spending your time looking over their shoulder constantly. Don't ever play gotcha with your sales reps, trying to get them to doing something wrong. If you cannot trust a rep to do what's expected, you've hired the wrong person. Number 6, spread the wealth. Don't be afraid to pay great salespeople a lot of money. If you're an owner and your sales rep makes a ton of dough, you are too. If you're a sales manager and your reps are making more money than you are, congratulations, you're doing your job. Number 7, do not pay sales managers commission on their own business. A sales manager's job is to make sales reps successful, not to make themselves rich on their own business. A commissioned sales manager often spends their time poaching prospects from their reps, which demotivates their team. If someone is not supposed to function as a sales manager, don't call them one. Hollow titles demotivate strong sales reps, so you need to structure a compensation plan to reward them if their team succeeds. This will force a sales manager to spend time with their people and make sure their team wins. Number 8, the majority of a sales rep's income should come from commissions. Avoid income caps at all costs, and if a prospective sales rep balks at being paid a sizable commission percentage, end the interview and move on to the next candidate. Now, for those of you that sell, there are 11 of these. Number 1, punctuality. Sounds easy. Never be 1 minute late for an appointment. Everybody has a cell phone. If you're going to be late, call ahead, say you're going to be late, and then show up when you say you're going to show up. This is going to sound real strange. The first place a person looks is at your face. The second place they look is at your feet. If your feet look like you're a bum, the customer will think you're a bum. So watch your footwear. Number 3, get out of bed. When making appointments, don't be afraid to ask for a very early one. When a prospect says, I get in early, and a lot of them like to tell you how early they get in, you should say, well, how about if I come in around 7? How do you take your coffee? And then watch them scramble. Well, that's kind of early. Maybe we'll make it 8:30. They may not agree to the time of 7 a.m., but I guarantee you when you do meet, they'll know that you're the crazy person who wanted to meet at 7 o'clock in the morning. And they'll remember you forever. Number 4, keep up on the news of today. Read a newspaper either in print or online. Watch your local and national news. Listen to news on the radio in the car some of the time versus only music or Howard Stern. Many customers love to talk sports, so you should always keep up on the local sports team. Number 5, never compliment the obvious. You walk into someone's office and the big blue marlin is mounted on the wall. Don't hold, wow, look at that fish. Did you catch that fish? Think about it. How many thousand times have they heard that story? So never, ever, ever compliment the obvious. Look around, find something more obscure, maybe on their credenza, maybe on a coffee table, and maybe bring that to their attention later on during the call. But never compliment the obvious. Number 6, learn to play golf, even if you stink. There's nothing better than spending 5 hours on a golf course with a customer. It's a great way to get to know them and build a relationship. Number 7, follow the great Harvey Mackay's advice and keep a file on the personal interests of all of your prospective clients. Make note of their sports interests, number of kids, schools attended, anything that involves their personal life. I remember, I follow this religiously, and I remember one time I was on a call and someone said, my son's getting married. 6 months later, I went back, walked in, hadn't seen the person to talk to them until I made the appointment. Walked in, shook their hand and said, "How was your son's wedding?" Now, I looked at my file in the car 5 minutes before I walked in. Well, the prospect thought that I remembered the son's wedding the whole time. And we had a very, very successful meeting after that. So just learn. Harvey Mackay talks about the story where a customer that he had called on for years had a son who liked the Minnesota North Stars. And they were a hockey team in Minnesota. So Harvey went back to his office, got a goalie stick from a friend of his that was signed by the goalie of the Minnesota North Stars, and he shipped it to the customer, who hadn't even said yes to buying anything from him yet. And he got an order that in a 25-year customer shortly thereafter. Number 8, pick up the phone. And this is nothing against those of you in e-commerce, but pick up the phone versus relying exclusively on mail or texting, especially if you have bad news to deliver. Too many people rely on email when they have bad news to give to a client. Pick up the phone, they'll appreciate it, or go see them in person. Very few business relationships are developed via email or text. Number 9, and remember there's only 11. Follow the 80-20 rule. Too many reps feel they're on stage while they're on a call. On a great sales call, the customer should speak a minimum of 80% of the time, and the sales rep should speak a maximum of 20% of the time. How do you do this? You learn to ask open-ended questions that begin with who, what, why, when, or how. So you avoid questions that can be answered yes or no. This is very, very hard to do, and it takes practice. So try it. And that's going to dovetail with my next one, which is number 10, learn to shut up. Remember, the next person who talks loses. That's never more appropriate than in sales. That uncomfortable moment of silence on a call is actually your friend. Too many salespeople feel they have to talk when things get quiet. Just be quiet. Count to yourself. See how many seconds go by. This is especially effective when you're trying to close a sale. When you've asked for the order and there's that moment of silence, shut up. Don't talk. And see what happens. I guarantee you'll be surprised at your success. Finally, number 11, under-promise and over-deliver. Incorporate this into every aspect of selling. If you're on a call and you're going to be late, call on your cell phone, tell the receptionist you'll be there in 15 minutes and show up in 10. If you can get a proposal to a client tomorrow, ask them if it's okay to get the proposal to them in 3 days. And then get the proposal to them tomorrow. Newer salespeople are always over-anxious to please. In this previous example, a newbie would promise to get the proposal to the client on the same day, only to get it back to them tomorrow. In both cases, the proposal is delivered on the same day, early by the first person and late by the second. That concludes my prepared remarks. I'll be happy to take any questions you may have.